some interest, especially the by-election issue.
Yes.
What's your take on this?
Well, it took us all by surprise. I was very surprised and saddened by what had happened, but it was quite clear that once we had understood what had happened, that Michael Palmer had to resign, and we followed through. Now there's a vacancy in Punggol East. For the time being, Teo Salang is looking after it, and Teo Ji Hian in Pasir Ris Punggol GRC also helping to oversee it. Whether there's a by-election or when is something which I will consider seriously.
今天早报有一个报道，想说这个绑俄东可能出现五角战，因为另外有三方也照这来说，他们有兴趣参加这次的补选，您的看法是？
听到楼梯响，现在等着看人下来。我们如果有没有补选，我还没有决定，时间我也还没有决定。我决定之后，当然马上会宣布。那如果有补选的话，谁要来角逐？那选民怎么样决定？这个是选民的权利，也是候选人的权利。从行动党的角度来看，当然我们是会有备而来，严阵以待。
你会不会借这个机会邀请一个部长级的人选上是您在大选之后找？
我们每一次都会尽量找一个最恰当、最理想的人选，但是要找一个恰当的人不一定容易，尤其是要马上去寻找一个人，这个更不简单。
We have a short translation on that.
The first question was what's my reaction, because Tao Bao said there are four opposition parties expressing interest. So I said, well, I haven't decided when to hold the election or whether to hold the election, and if so, when. If I decide to hold, then it's within the right of any candidate from any of the opposition parties to come. And then it is up to the voters to decide whom they want to support. From the PAP's point of view, of course, we will feel the best possible candidate and work our utmost to win and retain the voters' support in Punggol East. As to what sort of candidate we feel, we will find the best possible person. But we are serious in our requirements, and it is not easy to produce a rabbit out of a hat.
PM, do you feel that there's a high level of expectation from the residents and Singaporeans for a by-election sooner rather than later?
Well, I think if you read the newspapers, some people have expressed their views that they would prefer they want a by-election and they would like it sooner. I've noticed that. Yeah, but it's something which we are considering seriously.
Yeah, and there have been calls once again for some kind of a legal timeline for a by-election. What is your view on that?
Well, I expressed my view on that in 2008 or 2009 when we debated this in Parliament. I think it was one year or the other. And I explained why our legislation is drafted like this and why it is right that we do not have a time limit on a by-election or an absolute requirement that you do have a by-election. And there's a reason for it, because you are electing a team to represent you when you're going to elect a general election, and you're not just electing an individual in that constituency, but really you're electing a member of a government. A person stands wearing a logo representing a political party. And really the right way to choose a government is in a general election when the choice is put, and that choice is really for the term of the government. Unless there's a complete change in Parliament, otherwise, individual MPs, whether they resign or something happens to them, ought not to be able to upset the overall political situation. And that's the reason why it's designed like this. Of course, in a practical situation, if you do have a vacancy, if there's no special reason one way or the other, then there will be expectations that, well, you ought to have a by-election and ought to fill the seat. And that's something which I will consider.
But at the same time, most first-past-the-post systems have some kind of a timeline, either by custom or by law.
Yes.
And Singapore is an anomaly in this.
Yes.
On this.
We are different. We are different because we started off different before we went into Malaysia. When we were in Malaysia, we complied with the Malaysian norms. And in the light of the experience we had during that period, after we left Malaysia, we changed back to what we were ex ante. before the Malaysian period. And it's because we did not want, in a tight situation, one person deciding to resign and therefore forcing the government to change. Why should one person decide what really should be decided by the electorate as a whole? So there's a reason for that. You may accept it to a degree, you may have a different view, but it is not something which is accidental.
Have you decided on the next speaker or candidate?
Well, we will have a next speaker candidate by the time we sit in Parliament, which is on the 14th. But the speaker is somebody elected by the members of the House. So I think it's right that when we do have a candidate, we will let the PAP MPs know first, and then after that, I think we will make known who our candidate is.
PM, do you have anything to say to the soccer team?
Go and do your best. 3-1, better fight to win. Because if you don't fight to win, I think that you're not showing the Singapore spirit. And the way to do well is to decide that you want to go do your best, because we're all going to be cheering for you. I can't be in Bangkok, but I will be watching.
Where will you be watching?
I'll be in Singapore. I think I'm attending a wedding, but my SMS will be on.
Thank you, Pierre.
Thank you.
Thank you.